Well, I live on a hill. It's a fairly steep hill. And to be honest with you, getting across that hill this morning was pretty damn dangerous. It was like an ice rink. So I'm taking it carefully over the allotment because whilst it's not snowy at the moment, well, only a little bit, it's very icy indeed. So I think I'm going to do some things today that are going to keep me warm. A bit of physical and a bit of moving around of some compost probably. And we'll try and keep the warmth levels up. And gloves are definitely order of the day. I think in the interest of keeping warm, I'm going to move some of this soil and get this area a bit level. This is soft under here because it's under the canopy of the trees, so should allow me to do a bit of movement. And we've certainly got a dip in here, so I'm going to use this to get a level and probably bring some of the other spoil from up on the bank along too. I might have to move one or two of these things, but hey, let's just keep warm, eh? Well, that was an unexpected delivery, but I'll never say no. It's the lifeblood of this allotment, keeping new compost ready for the beds each year. So there's quite a lot of move out there now, but it's still too soggy and too slippery on here. So I can just sit there for as long as it takes. And when we get a bit of drier weather, I can move it down into the bins. So I'm making good progress here. I think I'll carry on and add a bit more. Well, that looks pretty good. I've got a bit of a bulge over there, but it's getting a bit claggy, so I think I'll allow that to dry out. It's a bit of an excuse because I'm fairly cream crackered, but it's good to see that mound of spoil disappeared and helped to get that level. And you can see how I've got a bit of a dip down there and obviously a lower level in where the compost is. And of course where I've got all the bits and bobs, there's a bit of a shelf now. But there's plenty more spoil to come down into this area, and it's very useful to be able to have somewhere to put it and put it to good use. So I think my last job of the day is just to move these few trays and get a bit of compost on those garlic bulbs that are actually shooting up quite nicely now. So it won't do me any harm to get a covering over them. And yeah, they're all coming out nicely. So we'll get some warmth on them. I noticed I'd created a channel from the second chicken coop underground so that it drained away, and you can see how it's drained down the plot in a channel, and it's washed all the soil away from that couch grass. So I'll be getting that out quickly as well. So here goes. So these trays that I put out just to give them a bit of a wash are looking much better now. So we'll stack those up just over here, get them out of my way. We certainly had plenty of rain. And this one has had no overspill, so you can just see how much rain there was in there. I'll be getting these hanging baskets into the polytunnel soon and preparing them for the strawberries. Well, that's giving me a clear run. I get this out of the way. And my tools. Okay, let's get that couch grass out. It's really soggy down this edge, which is probably a good thing, because at least I can pull this out fairly easily. It really is underway, this couch grass. But it does help to get it out. The ground here is not frozen, which is surprising really. I suppose it's the canopy of the trees. When you consider this was all dug out, it's amazing how quickly this couch grass grows in to the fresh soil. It's going to be a constant battle here, I think. And some of them are breaking off, which is not good news, because if they break off, they carry on growing. But that's got the worst of it out. And now we'll get into the compost. So this compost bin hasn't been opened at all since I set it up in the early spring. So it's going to be interesting to see how it looks. I cover it over really just to protect it from excessive rain, because if you get too much water in your compost heap, then it becomes anaerobic and not very good for growing things in. Right, master the covers and then get these slats back. Once again, this compost bin was full right to the top. It sunk probably, what, 2.5, nearly 3 feet, and that's the decomposition over time, leaving me about, I reckon, 1 foot of good compost. And you can see the straw on the top has not been subject to the decomposition process, and therefore it's just stayed the same. So I'll get that off, and that can go in another bin and start the process off again, and we'll see what we've got down and inside here. Right, well, we'll get that top surface off. Let's have a look. There we go. That's what we're trying to make. Perfect. One thing that I've got to do is get more paving stones down here, because we go around the coop and it's worked really well getting down to this step, but then when you get on here this time of year it's just dangerous. So somewhere in my itinerary over the next weeks I'm going to be getting some more pavers down there. That should make it a lot safer. Right, compost. The good thing about the compost under the trees is that no couch grass grows in it. I guess it just can't survive, and it makes the compost that much more usable and certainly less effort to get it out. I've noticed a few weeds down here. Just we'll get those out now before they get a hold. Right, let's start the covering. Now this is very light and friable, so you can literally sprinkle it onto the garlic and it won't do it any harm. Just break it up a bit more. And this will obviously feed the garlic and continue suppressing the weeds, which is what no dig is all about. Now, couch grass is still going to persist. There's no way that no dig gets rid of couch grass, in my experience. And the only sure way to remove it is to dig it out. And I can see with this bed that every couple of years I'm going to have to do a bit of digging just to remove it. That is until I solve that area over there, because it promotes the growth being able to work its way through the surface and prosper. So all the time it's prospering over there, it'll work its way over here. So a long-term solution for that is really important. Right, it's going to take a few barrows, I think. Getting pretty slimy here now. I think I've probably overdone the use of this path in this weather. Right, I'm nearly there. Now I planted garlic down to this point, and I just put this plastic dibber in as a marker, which is useful, so I just need to remember not to bury that. And I'll get these last bits covered. Bit of couch there. And then I'll cover over the section that's not yet had anything planted in it. I don't know what I'm going to put in there, but I'll find something. There's always going to be a few too many plants of something or other that can go in there. Right, let's tip it over. Oop. I just spread that around, and I think it'll be a job done. do hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and if you want updates from me each time I upload a video, click the bell and select all. I do hope you have a great day. Diolch yn fawr.